everybody, to another episode of Straight Up No Chaser. I am your host, DJ Mike Genius, and I hope all my geniuses out there doing well. Hope y'all are staying indoors, self quarantining. Hope y'all are social distancing when you go out, making sure you got on your mask, wearing your gloves, making sure that this pandemic out here, this ain't no joke. This ain't nothing to
We
be
have a
played.
pandemic. Coronavirus is a pandemic.
But I will tell you who playing with it. That's the governor of Georgia. The governor of Georgia is about to uh, reopen Georgia. Basically, he's saying that he's going to start opening businesses up as of April the 24th. It's going to be opening up barber shops, nail salons, tattoo parlors, gyms, things like that. He's gonna open them up to the public. And I don't know how you plan on social distancing if you are getting your haircut, and I don't know how you social distance when you are in the hair salon or the nail salon. I don't know how you social distance with that. If me, I would not trust it. To me, this sounds like a big old setup because the type of businesses that he opened up caters directly to black people. Black people like going to get their nails done. They like going to the barber shop, and they like going to get their hair done. And I'm telling all my brothers and sisters out there, y'all be careful. Do not fall for the hype. If you ain't got to go out, don't go out. Leave that alone. Don't let Governor Kemp just pull you into some bullshit, because I just got to tell you that it ain't looking good out there. It ain't looking good out there for us black people, because we taking it on the chin on this one. Um, and it's very disturbing when you start looking at the numbers and you start looking at the data of what's actually going on. When you look at the state of Georgia, for instance, uh, African Americans, black people, black Americans, we make up 32% of the population, but we're 54% of the COVID deaths. Now you got to think about that. So that's why I say it's a setup. We 32% of the population in the state of Georgia, but we're also 54% of the COVID deaths. Those numbers don't add up. I mean, when you look at it like that, I mean, they have, I, I don't understand that. I don't understand how how they plan on opening it up and how they plan on opening up these specific businesses. Because when you go to the barber may be feel well, you may feel well, but the person who cut the person that he cut hair before you, they may not feel good. They may not know they have it. They may be asymptomatic. They might not even know they have it. Go to the barber shop. Now they infect the barber. The barber is infected now. He has asymptomatic symptoms and he give it to you, and then you take it home to your family because you wanted a fresh fade. Fresh fade that's done killed your whole family. Or done got your whole family sick. I ain't gonna put death on your whole family, but your whole family might get sick just because you want a fresh fade, or you wanted to get your acrylics. You wanted to get your acrylics right on your nails. You want to get your nails done and the French tips and all that stuff, and or the fresh manicure, and you just then you done went in there and you done caught something from someone who's asymptomatic, and just then came home and just infected your whole family. Just if you do not have to go out, do not go out. Do not believe the hype. Do not. Hey, you going this long without a fresh fade? You can go a little bit longer, ladies. Your hair ain't been done, your nails ain't been done for this long. Just hold on a little bit longer. Let this all play out. If you ain't got to go out now, some people, I know you got to go out. I know you got to go out because you got jobs and you got things like that, and you got to provide. And I totally understand that. But if you ain't got to go out, you might want to just hold off. You might have to let them little luxuries go, because it ain't no joke. And Georgia is not the only state or the only area that has this big disparaging. These numbers are just where the numbers are just affecting black community, well, the numbers just don't make sense. They're just affecting the black community more than they're affecting any other. And the numbers are when you start looking at the numbers are very they're very disturbing. Just I mean, it is what it is. When you look at like Milwaukee County in Wisconsin, black people make up 26% of the population, but they're 73% of the COVID deaths. Now think about that. You have an area where the black population is 26% of the population, 26%, but 73% of the deaths. That how does that work? I mean, how does that make up? And I know a lot of people are going to do this thing where they will say that maybe there wasn't social distancing, maybe they wasn't paying attention to was it maybe they wasn't self quarantining themselves, maybe they want to put the blame on the victim, and this isn't to me it doesn't seem like it's victim blaming because basically there are other concentrations of people with underlying medical conditions. There are other concentrations of people who are not adhering to the self quarantine and the social distancing. So to put it on this segment and say it's all on the victims, it is a little short sighted and it's not really looking at the overall picture of what's actually going on. You look at Chicago, which is 32% of the which blacks are 32% of the population, but yet they're 67% of the COVID deaths. You look at DC, the numbers aren't as bad, but there's still an issue there. Where black people are 46% of the population, but 58% of the COVID deaths. You look at Louisiana, where black people are 32% of the population, but they're 70% of the COVID deaths. Now you're going to tell me now these when you look at it, Milwaukee, Chicago, DC, and even in Michigan, you look at Michigan, they're 14% of the population and 41% of the deaths. That's mind-boggling by itself. But when you look at all these different areas and you start to think about this in a just think about it in the terms of the where these locations are. So you're going to say that the people in Milwaukee, the people in Michigan, the people in DC, the people in Louisiana, all of these people are doing the same thing. None of these people are. I can see if you look at one particular area and you say that, well, these people in this area are not adhering to self quarantine. They're not adhering to social distancing. They're not. They have these underlying conditions. But you have Michigan, you have Chicago, you have Louisiana, you have DC. These are all over the map. These are not in one concentrated area. So what what's going on? Do black people have underlying conditions? Yes, we do. We have a higher percentage of our population has high blood pressure, has hypertension, high blood pressure, um, diabetes, and all of that. But should the numbers be this far, as far as the deaths are concerned, should the deaths be that far off? Um, th- there's some things going on. We basically we need to take a look at this. But until we now know specifically what's going on, because like I said, this is a pandemic that no one has actually really witnessed or been a part of in our lifetime. But until we do that, people in the state of Georgia that where they're talking about reopening and opening up barbershops and nail salons and things like that, be careful. Do not believe the hype. I do think it's a setup. I do think that they are trying to see what's going to happen. Basically, they're trying to see what's going to happen. How many people are going to die? How many people are going to get sick? How many people are going to die? They don't care about the people that are getting sick. They're looking at the numbers right now. They're saying, okay, if we open it back up, What's the collateral damage? And that's what Georgia's doing right now. And a lot of other mayors and a lot of other governors around the nation are trying to figure out ways to open back up their cities and states. And I'm telling you, if you don't have to go out, don't go out, and because these numbers are very disturbing and they're affecting one portion of the population more than they're affecting any other. Basically, if you are black and in America, you're risking your life every time you go out. And if you don't have to go out, don't do it.
Parents, can you fucking get your kids out from the street? It's fucking annoying. Some of you motherfuckers, you have your kids out there and it's fucking 9 p.m. I just cannot understand what the fuck is wrong with some of you. For God's sake, some of your kids are there, they are catching disease. Some of your kids are there, they are distributing the disease. You fucking need to go get your kid. Grab their nuts, grab their dick and twist that nuts. You understand? It's fucking annoying. We have thousands of doctors that are dying for us today. Doctors are sacrificing their life. We have nurses who are dying for us today. Okay? So some of you motherfuckers, your kids are fucking at the park. It's 9 p.m. Some of you motherfuckers, you're having your kids. Your kids are out there at the beach. They're fucking enjoying it.